So, yeah, there was a thing that happened. So, originally I was intending to walk you through building the floor for the first project assembly part, smart plates. And I did that, and then I spent some time building out a third floor, which has our modular frame production. But the problem was when I actually went to edit the video that I had recorded of building out this floor here and then building the space elevator over here, I realized there were some audio issues and some color issues with the video capture. I definitely know I had messed with the audio settings in OBS so that the ambient volume from the game was low, but I didn't realize how low it was, so it was just basically me talking, and it was kind of boring. And then I noticed the color problems, which are due to using a green screen, because you can see there's just computer screen behind me now instead of you seeing my messy office, thanks to a nice green screen from Amazon. And yeah, I just felt it wasn't the quality that I wanted my videos to be at. I know that when I solicited advice from other YouTubers before starting this channel, I was advised that don't let perfection become your enemy. But at the same time, and I take that to heart, but at the same time, I want to maintain a certain level of quality in my videos, and I just felt like that video, despite all the good stuff that I walked through and showed off and showed how to do things, I just felt it wasn't at that level of quality. So this is largely just going to be kind of unscripted, and it's just going to be kind of a show and tell of what I did here on the smart plate floor, and then on the manufactured frames floor, the space elevator, and our little shopping mall over here. And then I plan for us to spend the rest of the episode starting to build out coal power, because after building all this stuff, we desperately need more power. We cannot live on biomass forever. So, yeah, let's do that, shall we? So, the first thing I'm going to show you is that at the end of the last video I had published, I had one item left to research in the milestone computer, which was jump pads. And I never really used jump pads in my other saves. I just kind of tough it out until I either get hypertubes, or I can build the awesome shop and spend some coupons to get a ladder, or I just use a ton of ramps. But I decided to go the jump pad route this time and see how many times I could horribly kill myself. And luckily, I have not died yet thanks to these, and I've been hopping on them a lot lately. So this takes us up to the second floor here, and this is where we do all of our reinforced plate and rotor production right now. So I'm bringing in that open pure iron node over here, and that's bringing in 120 ore per minute. It goes through all this barrage of smelters, and down here these two constructors make iron plates. Then these four constructors in the middle, I think it's four. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, these four constructors all make iron wire thanks to an alternative recipe that I was able to get from a hard drive off camera in between videos, or hypothetical videos. Anyways, we got iron wire, which allows us to turn iron ingots into wire. So, oh wait, I'm crazy. I'm just absolutely nuts today. I'm absolutely nuts. That one's a screw producer. So those are plates. Those are screws. 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 Rods. Oh wait, no, I'm using iron wire up a floor up above. Ah, I'm crazy. I'm a nutty puppy. So, we're using the vanilla recipes to make rotors and reinforced plates here. So screws and iron rods get turned into rotors, and I brought in a whole bunch of screws from down below, which is why the line is saturated. And then the screw setup is load balanced so that the constructors for the reinforced plates over here and the rotors over here get exactly the amount of screws they need. And then come over here, yeah, reinforced plates are being made from this. So the system, this is a balanced system except for the output from the rotors and the reinforced plates, because I'm producing 5 reinforced plates per minute and 4 rotors per minute. And the smart plate constructor only requires 2 of each per minute, so it's overflowing, and luckily I built an overflow system, so that now it just goes downstairs to our little shopping mall that I'll show you in a few minutes. But for right now, we're going to go up to the next floor here. And this is as close to a balanced system as I could get it. It's pretty close, actually. I think there's only like 2 spare iron ingots in the system. So yeah, it's pretty good. For this system, I take the 3rd pure iron node, which if I can just get between these, and go over here, which is all the way over here. You can see that I built out a little bridge here, just for, you know, kind of what Kibitz calls a conveyor belt highway of sorts, or mini highway really. So we're just bringing all this ore in from this pure node on a Mark II belt, coming up, going over. And it just takes a turn, goes in here, goes into the smelter system. Then I have 3 constructors making iron rods right here. I have iron plates being made here, and this is where I have the iron wire. This is a great recipe because it allows me just to use all iron for this entire setup. And what happens is that the plates and iron wire come into these 2 manufacturers where I'm making the reinforced iron plates, and I've underclocked this machine to 4.5 per minute from like 5.6 something or other per minute, which is the default, just to balance everything out. So now we're making 9 reinforced plates, and those get fed into 3 assemblers that make modular frames. So now this system is making 6 modular frames per minute, which is great because we're going to need modular frames in large quantities as we begin progressing through the tier 2 and 3 milestones. And then modular frames will become a project will be something we need to use to build one of the next project component or project assembly components. Ugh, I can't get that out of my tongue. And I'm just to balance out the system. I had to have this constructor here just making a bunch of wire that just gets fed down here. Now, in what the actual last video that you would have seen on my YouTube channel, we unlocked the resource sinks and the awesome shop. So I didn't build a resource sink then, but I decided that as I was building out our little shopping mall down here, which I'll show off next, I built 2 resource sinks to absorb overflows of excess resources. So basically what they're doing is they're just sucking these resources in. They're just doing something to them. It's not entirely clear what we're doing with them, but they're turned into these coupons, which we can redeem for special items. And I built 2 of them because I tried working with just one of them, but I found that the Mark II belts were just not able to handle everything I was throwing onto them. So I had to split the overflow lines into 2 lines and feed them into their own resource sink. So we'll go down there and take a look at that next. And this is the jelly pad that you can unlock with the jump pads. It basically cushions your fall, so if you jump off a tall building, you won't completely die. They're also handy with cliffs. Now this is the shopping mall, and I mean, I know that's a term that Kibitz has used, and there is an article that was linked to over on the Satisfactory Reddit. I think I saved it somewhere. I'll post the link to my Twitter once I find it. But basically, this article takes this existential, philosophical view on designing complex factory systems for Satisfactory, which is actually very entertaining and insightful to read. It's fascinating to read it from that perspective. But one of the things it mentions is putting everything into a shopping mall, and basically that's an area where you just come and it's all your spare part, basically all your overflows of parts that have been stored away. You can just grab what you need when you need it. And that's kind of what we've done here. We've kind of done a very basic shopping mall. We don't have smart splitters yet, which you can program to do like overflow functions or send this thing that way, or programmable splitters which can send multiple things one way or the other. And those make this kind of setup a lot easier to do. But this works. This works for the moment. And we're stockpiling a ton of resources. We're sending a ton of resources into the resource sinks over here. So like if I open this one up, this container is storing rotors. Got a bunch stockpiled already, which is great because we're going to need them. And we've got a ton of modular frames, which is fantastic because again, we're going to be going through them quick soon. And here we go. We'll just climb over there. That one's empty. I haven't used it for anything yet. And that one has reinforced plates. That's going to be a problem. We need to really speed up that production, and that's just iron rods, more iron rods, screws, more screws. Then I have the copper stuff over here, so like a wire. I think this is, no, those are copper sheets. Yeah, those are the rotors. I think this is the cable. Yeah, that's the cable. These bins are for cable, and these bins are for regular plates. So we've got a ton of parts here, and we can start really doing a lot of medium-scale construction work, and then we've got our concrete kind of outside of this main base area. But we're producing that at a decent clip, so yeah. And then we've got this free container here where we can just dump random things as we need to, and it'll merge into this sink line and just get sunk there. And then if I open up the awesome sink, you'll see that it's telling me how much, basically the value of how much stuff I'm sinking every minute, because every item in the game, well, some exceptions, with a few exceptions, that if you hang around on Satisfactory Reddit long enough, you will find out very quickly what the exceptions are. But there are some items which cannot be sunk into the resource sink, but by and large, the majority of the items have a point value attached to them. More complex parts yield more points. Less complex parts like ores, iron plates, iron rods yield fewer points. But I've just managed to dump so much stuff in here, so in the short time I've been running the system, that I've got 18 coupons, so we'll just take these. Oh, I think I need to grab some more screws, I say, as... Well, that's just going to be a little tricky to grab, so we'll just go over here and grab some screws from our bin, and I'll show you what the awesome shop is like. Also, another thing I'll just point out about the floors above, you may have noticed there's a lot of empty stuff. Oh, and there's the power grid. I knew that was going to happen. Another reason to go to coal power quickly. But one thing you may have noticed about the floors above is that with how I laid the machines out, there is a lot of empty space up there, and to some degree we may be utilizing that pretty soon. We won't build out complex production lines, but we'll build out like lines where maybe we have one or two assemblers and one or two constructors. They're just hooked up to storage bins at both ends, and we just produce bespoke batches of parts as we need them. So like that, I consider that a viable option for producing space elevator parts without having to engineer a super complex supply chain until you actually have to. I mean, it's a completely valid option. So, and we may do that. And just shift resources from our storage bins down here up there, let it run by itself, and then we just won't worry about it instead of having to say, 20 episodes down the line, hey, remember we built this in episode 4 or 5? Yeah, we're tearing it out now because we don't need it anymore. So, that's a nice thing. And it also gives us some flexibility because let's say I need 20 supercomputers for something. Okay, I just have a spare manufacturer that's built on some empty space. Put some bins down, feed the parts I need into it. We're good. So that is a completely viable strategy, and you can see Kibitz doing that in his current playthrough on his YouTube channel, and you can see that in his, if you watch far enough back in his Season 3 video, he'll talk about how he has a section of his main base where it's just machines which are fed by bins. They're not hooked up to any like permanent production line. They're just handled by, he just throws parts in them as he needs to produce whatever he needs before moving on to building out a supply chain. So yeah, it's a completely valid option. And last but not least, we built the space elevator, and we unlocked the second, or we unlocked tiers 2 and 3 in the milestone computer, and I'll just show you what it is, and when we unlock the next set of research, you'll get to see it actually go up. But yeah, this is last time we only had to feed smart plates into it. Now we need to feed smart plates plus these versatile frameworks, which take modular frames and steel beams. We're going to have to get steel production at some point, and then this automated wiring, which takes cable and stators. And stators take wire and steel pipe. So yeah, this is one of the subtle ways the game really pushes you along. It pushes to unlock additional tiers of research. It keeps pushing you to. It keeps intentionally pushing you to build out exploitation of these resources. But we're going to do it in a way that's pretty. It's not that intimidating, hopefully. And if you're not too familiar with Satisfactory, the space elevator actually has 6 ports on it. So you can hook up up to 6 conveyor belt lines to it. I've never used all 6. I've only used like 1 or 2 at a time, but that's a really handy thing because like I have the smart plate line. It comes down, it goes in, it feeds through a bin that's acting as kind of a buffer. And then it just comes down here, and it just snakes its way over here. So I don't have to worry about ferrying parts back and forth, which is nice. That's nice. So I'm trying to think. What do we want to do here? Do I want to try and... I mean, there's no good reason that I can think of that we need to have the base powered up until we get coal power. So... do I have rotors on? Yeah, I have plenty of rotors, I have plenty of wire, and I have enough modular frame, or reinforced plates. Alright, so we're going to go unlock... Oh, by the way, jump pads and these jelly pads, if the power is off, they do not work. Here, I'll show you. Oh! That seems like a bug. That is very much a bug. That shouldn't be working like that. The jump pads should not work when they are not powered. Yet apparently that's the case. Yeah, power is off. We ran out of fuel in our biomass burners, and we desperately need power. Yeah, we desperately need power. Okay, so we're gonna go over here. And let's see. Oh, wrong thing. So we'll throw in the rotors, the plates, and the wire, and we can unlock coal.
Milestone reached. Coal is an improved alternative power source to biomass and can be fully automated if provided water with the new pipeline buildings and power throughout the initial setup. Coal has been added to the resource scanner.
Alright, so...
ensure the close proximity of water to the coal production line. Note, pumps will aid in vertical transport of fluids through pipes. Note, throughput and volume indicators are added to each pipe section automatically.
Exactly. So, we're going to build out a coal power. So there are a couple of locations that, based on where we're starting right here, are good early game coal power locations. So, all the way up there are 3 pure coal nodes. So with Mark 1 miners, each of those nodes can produce 120 coal per minute. which can power a lot of factories. So one of the things I should know how to do is open up the calculator in Satisfactory, but I don't, so I'm just going to use the calculator on my phone. So you have 120 times 3 pure coal nodes. That equals 360 coal per minute from combined with Mark 1 miners, no overclocking or anything. Now each coal generator takes 15 coal per minute, and if you want to just completely balance to that 360 number, divide through by 15, that tells you can build 24 coal plants. Since each coal plant, when producing 100%, when clocked to 100% efficiency, it produces 75 megawatts. That gets you 1,800 megawatts, which is a good bit of power, especially for early game. That is phenomenal, and that will last you a long while. But the problem with that is that with Update 4, the developers, I guess for some balancing reason, added more poison smoker things on the path that goes from here up to there. And yes, I can just build a bunch of concrete ramps around that, but I don't really want to. I want to be I don't want to deal with that. It used to be there was enough of a gap in that path that you could just kind of snake your way through and easily make your way up there without a gas mask. Now you kind of have to have the gas mask to be able to get up into the crater lakes and that whole biome up there, which I guess is the intent. They want players either to take the risk to go up there, or they want them to not go up there until a little bit later. So what I think we're going to do is there's a series of 4 normal nodes somewhere over here, that direction by the river. We don't have the map yet, so I can't show you on the map. Actually, let's go to map here. And I'm just going to unselect all layers. And yeah, so there are 4 coal nodes over here, and I'll just boop, boop, boop. Yeah, so there are 4 coal nodes over here along the riverbank, and there's a pure iron node like right in here. So this is actually a really good area for starting for building your coal power and for building out your basic steel production. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to start off by harnessing 2 coal nodes. We'll put water pumps out here in the river basin, and we're just going to go from there. And also, just as an FYI, there's a cave with an entrance like right here that leads to 2 quartz nodes somewhere underneath in here. One is a pure node and one is a normal node. Since we have easy access to 2 pure nodes in that canyon down to the south, we're not going to bother with those yet. Alright, and just to kind of give you an indication of how far away this is. Yeah, so these are the nodes at the top of the crater lake, and I think this is the river. So yeah, we're just gonna go on a little adventure here. And there we got our little Zappy Zap friend too. Isn't that right, Beans? Alright, so there are 2 of the coal nodes. Ooh, that's a lot of piggies. Hi! I want your coal. Alright, so I think these are the 2 coal nodes I want. Where's that? Where's that iron? Okay, it's over there. Okay, good. Yeah, we're going to use that for steel production later. So we just want these 2 nodes here. So miner there. Miner there. And we're just going to give ourselves a little elevation here. We're going to have fun with concrete. Okay, we're going to make this easy on ourselves here. I'm going to build the awesome shop. It's under special. So I had taken all those coupons from our awesome sink. And you can see I can buy all kinds of cool stuff here. So like factory ladders, lighting, walkways, stairs. What we're going to get are the ladders right here for now. Is there anything else? Yes, double ramps. Those are insanely useful. Anything else? Nope. Where's the walls? Let's get the conveyor walls too. Oops. Well, that smart going, Copper. Foundations, double ramp. There we go. And since these are blueprints, we immediately have them. Now, if you buy something like a statue or equipment or parts, which can be handy if you're like stuck in the middle of nowhere and you need something to open a drop pod, you can just do this. But yeah, you go to purchases and it would show up here in this little inventory screen. But yeah, we're good for right now. And what we're going to do is we're going to add these ladders. Yeah, look at that. We're all fancy here. And what we're going to do while our coal, well, not coal, but while our concrete is producing, so we can finish this little monstrosity off, is we're going to start figuring out the best way to align this. I usually try to align miners in groups of 4 or 6, so I think since we need 8 power plants with room to grow, that's what I'll just do. Where's my power? And what we're going to do now is climb on top of one of these guys so we can site our next 4 generators. Which I think we're just going to put opposite kind of facing in, and I don't want to fall off. So then, you know, I talked in the video that I didn't upload, I talked about how if you see these little alignment guides on foundations, that helps you place buildings so that you can get nice symmetrical layouts, and it'll have things that will help you align to like inputs and outputs as well. So that's handy. Great. So now we've done that, and now really we're at the mercy of concrete. Because we're going to need that before we can start really placing conveyor belts or pipes or anything like that. Although, first we can kind of just determine where we want our pipes to come in at. Do I have pipe supports available? I do not yet. Okay, that comes in later. So probably what we're going to do is we're going to have our pipes kind of snake up. We're going to put a pillar here and have them snake up and just look nice and pretty. And actually, on that note, let's go back to the awesome shop. Because I think... don't want that, don't want that. Yes. Pipeline wall attachments, great. Great. I should maybe be able to power the start with the coal system off of that. That'd be nice. There we go. I love lookout towers because they are just so handy. So handy for planning. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to have... If I can get out of that. Coal is going to snake its way up this side, so we'll have it just kind of come up on a lift up this side, and they'll just start being split down the rows here. Then water will come up that way. So what we're going to do, just so we can start getting... There we go. That does not need a conveyor belt. That does. I'm starting to wonder if maybe I didn't... ideally, I want to have... Well, you know what? I could have it... No. This is too close. this is kind of where it becomes trial and error. You just kind of go, eh. And we're out of concrete again. Don't die. There we go. That might be a little excessive, but here, I'm just going to add that to my hotbar. Number 0 or tune. It just kind of works funky like that. Alright, we're gonna place back our coal power plants here. And alright, so now we get to do some structural / housekeeping things to get everything back in order here. So we're going to do that. And since I'm obviously going through a lot of health right now, I'm going to pick some of these berries. There we go, got a bunch of them. I'm just going to do that. There we go. And we're just picking these out of the way because I just want a clean path when I start moving conveyor belts through. And I'm just going to build a ladder right here simply because I'm going to redo this foundation over here because I just realized it just doesn't work. And also I was just getting annoyed with having to continually jump up to get up there, so this is just going to be a little easier. Alright, so we're going to put down a conveyor pole here, here, and we're just going to run that here. We've got some belts with some nice turns built in there, and we're going to jump down again, and where is the Mark 1 belt? There we go. It's not perfect, but it works. And, you know, like I mentioned earlier, when we get Mark II miners, we'll upgrade all this to higher capacity belts and power shards and things like that. So we'll do that. There we go. Now that should be pretty well set up. Now the next thing, aside from just doing a couple little improvements here to make it not look like I'm defying the laws of physics. Alright, so what we're doing next is, the next step is to build the water extractors that will send water into our power plants. Alright, so I want to see something first. I want to see if we have ground height clearance. Just, ooh, I built it a little too low. Okay, that's totally fine. We can work with that. If we expand this set of power plants out in that direction, I want to make sure that we have enough clearance for water extractors. So what I'll probably do is just build this platform out in that direction. And that will give us enough room to add more extractors in the future. And there we go. And we can just kind of work with it best we can. Alright, so we're going to do that. We're just going to snap the grid best we can. Alright. To there. So what I'm doing to get this nice and neat is I'm holding down the control button to snap to grid, and that's another little thing that was added in Update 4. Previously, it was just kind of a lot of trial and error to get water extractors to snap properly, and more often than not, it was errors rather than, it was more error than anything else, but thankfully the developers at Coffee Stain fixed that. So now the control function works like it should. I just wish the pipe alignment worked a little better, but you know, you take the wins where you can get them. So like I said, we're gonna underclock these extractors, since the base output of these extractors is 120 water per minute, or cubic meters of water per minute. We need 360. So in theory, that's just 3 extractors, but like I mentioned earlier, the pipes can only handle 300 cubic meters of water per minute. So what we're going to do is we're going to just underclock each of these extractors to 90 water per minute, and then that will perfectly balance out to 4 power plants. So it's good. You can make this work with with pods of 6 power plants. A little bit easier, you know, not easier, but you can play with that a little bit to get it to balance out a little more. So it is what it is. Now we're going to take these wall supports that we got from the Awesome Shop, and I'm going to put a couple of them in here. So one there, 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 there. Boy, I really need the Blade Runners, because that would make jumping so much easier. But we'll get to there. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but at some point in the near future. And that did not work that. Okay. Alright. We're almost done. Then the final step will be to hook everything up to power. No, I only have a couple of color, or a couple of, just so I don't bore you guys too much. But we're gonna at least get this set up today. And let's see, we're hooking up water here. And one thing we will have to do is put pumps on these pipes, because there's a phenomena in the game called head lift, which apparently mimics real life water physics. That gravity will limit the amount of the height to which you can pump water, or water will just naturally flow up by itself. So you have to give it an assist with pumps. Alright, so let's look at the power poles. This is going to be pretty quick. And I'm, again, going to just do what I normally do, is I just hook up one power pole per building. This is, while I've taken to doing that mainly just for construction equipment, it is an insanely useful tip for power buildings. Because then, if there's an outage or something's not working, you're not seeing the correct throughput that you were expecting, it's really easy to go through and troubleshoot to say, oh, I didn't connect this building. There we go. There we go. And connect that. Ooh, that's wrong. Alright, and like I said, I'll come back and fix this later, but right now I'm just going to hook this stuff up in kind of a not very coordinated way. There we go. Actually, we'll just snake around here to power our hold on a second while I try and scooch under it. There we go. And here's just going to kind of be the exception. I'll just hook, just because it works out nicely, I'll just hook each power line up to 2 buildings instead, or power pole up to 2 buildings. And I'm glad I noticed that this building needs so we're gonna have to put that extractor back a little bit further just because it just decided to be a little bit of a pain. There we go. So it's not aligned perfectly, but the important thing is that we can get the pipe connected, and we'll just connect this pipe up. There we go. Good. Alright, and what we're going to do now is connect up pumps. I think the best place to put these pumps, and which direction do I want? Yeah, there we go. There we go, so that should be in the right spot. Alright, how much? Wow, that's a lot of that's more consumption than I thought there was going to be. I do need to tone these down a bit. Oh yeah. So this is going to be 90. And I could use the copy paste command. Oh, actually no, I can't. Oh, that's interesting. There we go. Well, it looks like then to get this setup running, we're going to need quite a bit of power. I'm guessing by the maximum consumption from this that we're going to need about 4 biomass burners to get it started, which And here comes the coal very slowly. It's kind of a waiting game. The slow belts. So let's go over here, and we'll just go up. Are we at least getting... Oh, good. We are getting water in. That's good. And unfortunately, with how we set it up, this is an overflow setup for water and for the coal. So we just kind of have to wait for the system to completely overflow itself, which may take a couple of minutes. Alright, so here 8 times 15 or 75, so we should be expecting to see an incremental 600 megawatts on the grid, on top of the 120 that we have available from the biomass burners we just built. And we just saw a little bit of climb, so one power plant's online. I can't get over there, so we'll just go this way and get on the lookout tower and watch the power plants or something. Oh, you can hear them throw them up. Yep, see a couple of them going. Oh, there's some spikes in power. Yeah, like I said, the system just has to saturate itself. So the magic number we're looking to top out at is about 720. You know, I have plenty of Mark II belts. I could just go down there and put those in. Actually, let's go ahead and do that. Just at least for one line, maybe both if we have enough plates. And we can't afford it. Oh wait, no, we've already done that one. Wow, we had just enough. So even though we're only pulling 60 in per minute, we've kind of future-proofed ourselves and gotten the stuff we are mining to flow through faster. Tell you what, we're gonna just make some reinforced plates real quickly. Tell you what, I may just... Do I have any more coupons left? Yeah, I've got 3 coupons. Let's just try shortcutting this. We're just gonna get some parts here. And what do you know? We have just enough. So our capacity is doing pretty well. I think what we're going to do now is just extend the power lines back to base. So I'll see you guys there. Alright, and here's the big moment. I'm back at base and I've encountered our little concrete bridge here along with the power connector. So we're going to link in our new coal power plant, this, and I hope it doesn't blow the grid. Okay, it says we've got production of 600 megawatts and everything's great. Everything's moving, everything's shaking. Stuff is going. This is good. We just need more power. More power, more parts, and more resources. So I think with that, we're going to end it today. So, sorry for the delay here. And if you want to stay tuned for more videos from me, Pup Copper, you pull that like button and boop that subscribe button and stay tuned. Alright, bye guys.